During the National Wrestling Hall of Fame Honors Weekend. Ken, obviously an official for a very long time. Many of the best officials that have been inducted, like yourself, have a strong wrestling background as an athlete, part of the sport throughout their lives. Could you tell us how you got involved in wrestling and why the sport was important to you as a young person?
Gary, I got involved with wrestling because I wanted to play football. The high school I attended, the athletic director was also the head football coach, and he had a standing rule: if you wanted to play football the next season, you had to participate in sports year-round.
Yep.
I was lousy at basketball.
Yeah, short guys aren't too good at that, are we?
So I walked on the wrestling mat when I was 14, and I've been on the mat in one fashion or another to this day.
Yeah, no, you started at first as an athlete and then as a referee, and you did a little coaching too, right?
Did a little coaching. I started, of course, wrestled in high school, wrestled 2 years in college. It started out as University of Chattanooga. It merged with the UT system, became University of Tennessee at Chattanooga. Did that for 2 years, was married, had a child, trying to go to school, trying to work, trying to wrestle. Something wasn't working, so I had to give up the wrestling. And to make a little extra money, I started refereeing.
Right off the bat, huh? Being on the mat all those years as an athlete, you don't always think about the official, but what got you the idea of saying, hey, I could do this and it'd be something I would enjoy?
Some strong encouragement from mentors in Chattanooga, Bill Hodges, John Farr, were officiating and running the local association. They encouraged me and criticized me when I needed it, and give me a kick in the butt to get me started. And it just progressed from there.
It starts local, right?
It started locally. Started locally at the high school level.
Yep.
Moved up to the college level after a few years. Gordon Connell in Chattanooga had been at the local high school, at Hickson High School, and won a couple of state titles, and had moved up to Middle Tennessee State University to do their wrestling program. They were hosting a tournament one weekend, and he was short a referee. So he called me, and I went up there, and that was kind of the beginning of my college career.
Yeah, no, it's again small steps and then big steps. Obviously, there had been some people that taught you how to be a good official. Do you have a few people you'd like to thank and shout out for taking, hey, I want to be an official, to I have all these great opportunities now?
At the college level especially, Dr. Pat McCormick, Lynn Dyke, were mentors and advisors to me. I worked alongside some great officials: Darrell Henry, Dave Frisch, I could name them forever. Ed Kelly, Mike Haggerty. Many of who have the same award you're getting, right? You're already in here, yes, and probably were instrumental in offering a word of recommendation for me. But I picked up early on that I could learn from them.
Right.
And so I would watch their game and to see what I could incorporate into my game. And so it was.
Well, that's kind of like being an athlete too. You watch the other competitors, you study their technique, and you learn how to
pick up the good things, and the things you don't like. You don't move those in there. But I worked along Mike Chase. I could go on forever naming names, but all of them helped me become a better official.
Part of being a good official is that it goes well, and people don't even know that the official's out there because it's going, right?
I told a local guy recently who interviewed me, I told him, I said, my main goal was to get in the gym, do my job, and get out of the gym without people knowing who I was. And because it was never about me. It was always about the wrestlers and trying to make sure they got a fair shake and nobody got hurt. And so I kind of built on that.
So they said in your bio that you basically have 50 years of involvement with Tennessee officiating, not just on the mat, but also in leadership. What is it about the high school level? People know that you were in the finals of the NCAA tournament, working those events, but what was so meaningful for you to give back through officiating to your state.
Especially where I'm located in Chattanooga, it's very family oriented. It's like a wrestling family. You know, we can go head to head against each other on the mat, but afterwards go get a beer together, kind of thing. You know, that kind of mentality, and that's very very prominent in my area, and I tried to promote that as well. Just to be a as good official as you can be fair and square, and then move on. You know.
Well, and everyone has firsts, right? I mean, and your first Division I tournament, that must have been a wonderful or a challenging experience. Could you tell us what you remember about, hey, this year you're going to be at the big show?
Yeah, I remember getting a letter from Colonel Wayne Ballman inviting me, and you know, I was just amazed. I'd been working the Southern Conference college tournament, and I think they had recommended me to the board or to the NCAA, and Dr. Ballman sent me a letter of recommendation. When I got here, that first 2 years I think it was, 20 officials were invited, but 3 of them went home after the first day.
Yep.
And I fully expected that I would be one of those 3. But I didn't. I made the finals that year. Dr. Pat McCormick was at that time he was listed as the head referee, but he was also in charge of the refs, and he and Lynn Dyke worked together, and they gave me Barry Davis's match in the finals. I think their thinking was, he can't screw this up. That Barry was going to dominate, and he did.
Yeah.
As he most often did. So they put me on that mat gratefully, because I was as nervous as you can be. I mean, there's all sorts of expressions about how nervous I was, but I was there. But I managed to get through it, and moved on from there. Got invited back,
many other opportunities.
Got invited back, and ended up doing 20 national tournaments, and was lucky enough to make the finals, be selected for the finals 19 of those 20 years.
So similar to being successful as an athlete, the officials have to grow and change and learn as time goes by. The rules change, first of all, right?
Yeah.
But also some of the styles of wrestling, like when I wrestled, they did a lot of cheap tilts, and then they got away from that, and they're back to doing it. I mean, what's it take to keep cutting edge so that when you're out there, you're really calling it with the new rules and calling it with the style of wrestling?
One of the things, I'm very much a creature of habit, which I think benefited me because for consistency purposes, but one of the things I learned to do, I reread the penalty chart every week during the season.
Okay.
And of course, back when I started, it was about a half a page. Now it's about 3 pages. So just to stay on top of the rules, you know, the out of bounds has changed drastically. Like you say, the styles of wrestling has changed drastically. So you just have to, you know, stay involved.
Are there any matches, either from the NCAA finals or even from other events, that you remember that are worth talking about, just because of how much of a challenge or a positive experience that was for you?
One year in the semifinals, I got to do the match between Kenny Monday and Nate Carr.
Oh yeah.
And it was fantastic to be a part of that. And you know, just basically you sit back and let them wrestle, because they weren't going to stall. They weren't going to. You know, those two were gung ho and all in.
Well, because they would have wrestled the Big 12s the week before, right?
They'd seen each other before, and they knew what to expect. So I don't know, I could begin to tell you what the score was, but I remember being very excited to be involved in that match.
Right, and if people don't remember you or the ref, that's even better,
That's
right?
even better. That's even better.
So, as a young person, I mean, you were fairly young when you got involved in officiating. What would you tell a young person about why this would be a great way to not only give back to wrestling, but also challenge them to make a difference? What advice would you give to the new ones?
Yeah, just that, to stay involved with wrestling. If you love wrestling, this as you progress past the competitor stage, being an official is a great way to stay involved, the sport you love, to give back to those that are coming up behind you, and it's, you know, you gotta. I encourage them. I am in charge of the director of education for the state high school officials in Tennessee now, and I encourage them, get on the mat as often as you can. Don't turn down an assignment, and when you're not on the mat, go watch an official that's a more experienced official, and like I did, pick up pieces of his game that can fit you.
So you didn't just go out on the mat. You did evaluation for a while at different levels.
I did.
What kind of skills did you need as evaluator? Because it's got to be different than, say, as just a referee that's working on their own craft. You have to take a different role as an evaluator. What did you need to be good at that part of
You
officiating?
had to convince yourself not to watch the wrestling, but to watch the wrestler, the official. You're concerned with what he's doing and his mechanics and his consistency and his his attention to detail. That's what you're looking for as an evaluator. It's very easy to get caught up in watching the wrestling and forget where the referee is. But that's your job as an evaluator, is to assess his abilities and give him advice and critique if needed be, to help him get better and to contribute to the process.
I'm sure there have been a few people that you had to evaluate where you had to help them in certain areas. Do you remember any people that's like afterwards were thankful that you helped them progress and improve?
It come as I got towards the end of my evaluating. Oh, excuse me, I'm sorry, I forgot to turn that off.
It's okay. It's a good song.
That's my wake up song. Mike Chase was one coming up. Trying to think of some others. Gosh, he's in Maryland now. I'm drawing a blank on his
Yeah, but
name.
you've had them where they...
Some younger guys would come, and knowing I had experience as an official, I think it carried some weight with them if I made a comment to them, I think they took it to heart.
Been here a day or so. What are your thoughts when you heard the news that you were going to be inducted and be able to come out here with your friends and family and celebrate wrestling, right?
When Leroy Smith called me, I think it was last October, I was convinced that someone was pranking me. This had to be one of my friends, pulling a prank. But he convinced me that it was for real, that I had been selected. Then he told me I had to stay quiet for a couple of weeks until the board made the official votes, which was difficult to do because I wanted to stand up and shout to the world. But I did tell my wife, because she was with me when he called. So, but she was the only person. I managed to keep it quiet. Of course, I'm thrilled, honored beyond belief.
Yeah, I'm sure that so many of the other all the other officials that have had this award, and I'm sure I have a few that you might even see this weekend. You have any of your refereeing buddies that might be down here to support you?
I think Mike Haggerty's going to be here. He's going to speak for me Saturday morning. Along with P.A. Bowler from the State Association is going to speak, but I know Mike will be here. Tom Galen, I don't know if Tom's coming or not, but Ed Kelly, I could go on forever with Fred Ambrose, Pat McCormick, Mike McCormick, the list goes on and on.
And I mean, the Hall of Fame, everyone does think about the athletes, the people that were Olympic champions, but everyone plays an important role in building the sport, right? You take a little pride that, I was a wrestler, but I also became a referee and really made an impact. Is that something that helped drive you as you got deeper into your career?
I got to the point where I didn't think I was the best, but I didn't think there was anybody better than me. And that was a confidence level that you got to where you were comfortable. I still was obviously nervous before a finals match, because the eyes of the world are on you, but it wasn't as bad as that first time when I walked on with Barry was wrestling. So that I got, as I grew confident, and that was just getting on the mat, like I say, being where I was in Chattanooga. The travel was difficult at times, and matter of fact, that's when I finally decided to quit officiating at the college level, was because I was gone so much. And I came home from doing the national duels, I forgot what year it was, but my little 2-year-old granddaughter didn't recognize me. And I said to myself, it's time for me to cut back. And so that's where I was.
Well, hey, congratulations on this wonderful honor. It's been nice visiting with you. And
Thank you, Gary.
Certainly hope that you, your friends, and your families have a great weekend.
It's been a great weekend so far. Looking forward to today and tomorrow and the ceremonies. I think Kathy and I are going to drive over to Oklahoma City on Sunday to do a little sightseeing there and visit the memorial and those kind of things. So it's been a great weekend, and we're looking forward to more.
Congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.